we're going to install a pollen trap onto this beehive. Hey, this is Adam Hickman from Foxhound Bee Company, out here at the bee yard at Foxhound, and I wanted to show you guys what I'm gonna do. So we have a good strong colony right here, and we're going to install a pollen trap onto this beehive. So if you don't know what a pollen trap is, it's a way to capture pollen that is coming back from the bees, and so that you can harvest it. And some beekeepers will harvest it and collect it and give it back to their bees at another point. We harvest the pollen from the bees, and then we store it, and then we sell it. We have a lot of customers who like local bee pollen, so we collect it for that. So this pollen trap, which is this right here, hasn't been on the hive at all since last fall or so. We took it off. So I'm going to install this onto the hive, and then I'm also going to take the opportunity to replace the bottom board on this hive too, because it's got some holes in the back, and bees are coming from the back of the hive. They're going in from the front of the hive. It's just not a very good setup. And when you have a pollen trap, you have to actually force the bees to go into the hive through a certain way, because it makes it a little bit more difficult for the bees to get in and out. And because of that, they're gonna try and find whatever shortcut they can. So if there's a hole in the back of the box, they're gonna enter through that hole instead of through the pollen trap. So I'm just gonna show you a little bit about what this pollen trap looks like. It is called a Sundance bottom mounted rear drawer pollen trap. It's kind of a mouthful, but basically it's just made to fit on a 10-frame hive, and it goes on the bottom of the hive instead of top of the hive. And what I like about this particular one is you can turn it on and off. So this is the on and off button right here. Basically, it just slides up and down. This is the off position, and then when you slide it up, it's the on position. All pollen traps, or most pollen traps, they have a little gap for the bees to get in and get out of the hive really easily, and also to let drones out. So that's what these little cones are right here. The bottom of the hive is a screen, and it is really difficult to explain how these things work, but basically, as the bees go through this, they have trouble getting through the holes, and as a result, some of the pollen, not all of the pollen, but some of the pollen is knocked off of their back legs. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking this hive apart, and I'll show you what I'm doing here, and you will see from beginning to end how to set this up. So let me put my jacket on here, and we'll take this colony apart so that we can start collecting pollen. So I've got to replace this bottom board, so I'm gonna go ahead and let the bees know I'm coming here. Colony, just look at the front of the hive and the back of it. They are bringing in a lot of pollen. So while we're in here, I'll check to make sure that's good and healthy, because you don't want to put a pollen trap on a hive that isn't healthy. So there's lots of fresh pollen already in this one. I don't see any eggs or larvae, but there's a good sign that this is a healthy colony. Yeah, all right, there's got lots of good eggs and larvae here, so I feel good about this one. Let's look at one more frame here. Lots of nice brood there. Nice brood pattern there. So this is going to be a great hive. Put these frames back together here. All right, so I got to get this box off so that I can get to the bottom board. So this is in the on position right here. These are baskets back here. So this is what's going to collect all the pollen. That was an old entrance reducer that was kind of wedged in there. All right, so this is back together. So I'll check this tomorrow and there will already be pollen in the trap there. So these are gonna have trouble getting in for a little bit. So I've got to fix this here. So there's a gap right here, and it's probably because there's some propolis stuck underneath these frames here. So that is sitting up there a little bit. So I'm gonna adjust this a little bit to close this gap. If I didn't do that, those bees would just use this entrance as an entrance and they wouldn't go in and out of through here. So I'll adjust that. This is, other than that, this is ready to go and set up, and we'll start collecting pollen today. All right, thanks.